Hello everyone, Mighty Benaya here, and I'm back with another episode of the Iron Order 100 player campaign, the Nubia start. We started with a random civ and caught Nubia, and one of the things that I wanted to go over briefly today, we have pretty successfully defended ourselves against Ethiopia. Egypt declared war on us, but for some reason they just pulled their troops back, so I've been having a grand old time just taking a little bit of territory here and there. But I wanted to talk to you about something that Ethiopia told me before he was dispatched. And actually, I do want to double check my bomber here and make sure that he's not about to die. Okay, we're good. So now that the bomber has whittled away all of the ground troops, they cannot take any of my territory. So that's a good thing. But one of the things that Ethiopia said was, hey, I want to have a big explosive start. And so what he did was he declared war. He put all of his troops on the border and declared war on me. He declared war on a bunch of AI, so he had taken all of this territory out to on the Horn. This is the Horn, the Horn of Africa, and then he had gone south and taken on the East Africa Syndicate. And East Africa's kind of making the same mistake. He's just declaring war on everyone and attacking everyone he can. Look, he's all the way down here. Looks like he's made friends with one of his former enemies, Russo Gold, but he has gone explosive. The way that you do that is not by immediately declaring war on your neighbors. The way that you do that is by being an opportunist. So you wait for one of your neighbors to have a weakened state, whether somebody attacks them or they attack somebody and their army is away from you. And that's kind of what East Africa did for me. They were an opportunist. The Ethiopian army was all in my territory, and while the Ethiopian army was in my territory, they decided to attack. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I do know that there is a submarine here. It's an Ethiopian submarine, so I'm kind of just waiting for this last territory to fall, and then I'm going to start building some ships because I don't want them to sink immediately. My bombers are doing work. I really don't like bombers in theory as offensive units in this game. Obviously, this is my second game, so I've not tested it a lot, but just as my gut, based off of their cost in early and in mid game, they're really difficult to protect because you have to invest in fighters in order to invest in bombers to fight fighters as an offensive unit. And then you also have to have your combat, your support, and your capture, your infantry units. What I think is a better choice, and I think I mentioned this, but I didn't explain why, anti-aircraft is better for offense. And then you want to have tank units, right? So if you have anti-aircraft, it's better than building fighters because they're cheaper and you don't have to build an airport. If you're on the defense, then airports can be really, really helpful because you should only be bombing areas that you control. And then you can use that anti-aircraft. But you don't want to use the anti-aircraft guns on offense because that makes them vulnerable. So that's why bombers are good on defense, but not as good early to mid game on offense. Obviously, by the time you get to late game, you've got the resources to spend on them. But if you're going to spend them on bombers, is there something better that you can be spending them on? So we'll see how that turns out as I continue to play this game. I might change my mind. But that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. For Egypt, We are advancing well for resources. I just put in for a third beaker factory, third level beaker factory. So I've got a third level oil, a second level beaker, and a second level power. But power is going up at 117 and beakers are going up at 90. So that's why I am doing the beaker. There's a lot of things that you invest beakers into, and so I'm making sure that I'm keeping up with that one. But I haven't put anything in steel. As you can see, I have plenty of steel. I do need to start investing in manpower. So I don't have any manpower generation right now. I say that my manpower generation is just having the territory. I don't have any recruiting offices built, and that has limited me, and I've had multiple people declare war on me. So that's kind of my next step, is building recruiting offices, developing my economy a little bit, working on some of this morale so that I can bring in a little bit more cash, a little bit more manpower from Ethiopia, and then deal with Egypt. It's unlikely that I'm going to be able to get all the way to Benghazi, and that's their beaker, rare resources province, but we'll see. I might be able to. That's all that I have for now. Sole Deo Gloria, and I'll see you next time.